Implementing GST in Busy. This presentation will give you an overview on implementing GST in Busy. Goods and Services Tax GST is a very simple tax which will subsume many taxes which are currently prevalent in the economy like VAT, excise, service tax, octroi, luxury tax and many more such taxes. Now across the nation there will be only one tax, that is GST. If you are doing interstate transactions, central transactions, then you need to deposit tax to the central government, and in case of local transactions you need to deposit tax equally divided into two parts to central government and state government. In this presentation we'll see how you'll manage the accounts and do the transactions related to GST. So our first step 1 will be creating and configuring company for GST. For this, first of all, we'll go to company menu and click create company option. We are giving the company name as Star Traders, specify its address, specify Y in the enable GST VAT option and select the type as GST. So with the coming of GST, we'll select the type GST, that is we are creating a company in which we'll do transactions related to GST. Specify Y in the enable cess option if you want to enable cess in the company. Specify your GSTN number, then type of dealer, that is whether you are a regular dealer or a composition dealer, and then are your default tax rates 1 and 2. If you use on particularly two types of GST, then you can specify those tax rates here so that sale purchase types will be created only for those tax rates. However, if you leave these fields as blank, then sale types, purchase type will be created for all the tax that are there in GST. Click Save button to create the company. Provide super username and password. Now, first screen will be your VAT GST under the Features Options menu. As you have created a new company, so here it is showing the tax type as GST. In case of new company, you do not need to do much as all the default sale types, purchase types, bill sundries related to GST will be created automatically at the time of company creation since you have selected the tax type as GST. If you are our existing users and you are migrating to GST, then you need to click Create Default GST Masters button to create default GST related master. At the bottom of the window there is a caption, show captions of sale purchase voucher as supply outward and supply inward. If you enable these options, then instead of sale purchase caption, the captions will appear as supply outward and supply inward in the transactions menu. Click Save button to save this configuration. If you are our existing user, then you can use this button, steps for migration to GST, to migrate to GST, and from this form only you can configure your company as per the GST. Our next step 2 will be creating party masters and expense account. Now we'll create different parties with whom we will deal and various expense accounts. Here first of all, by going to administration's masters account modify option, we can see that various tax related accounts like CGST input and CGST output, SGST input output are created by default by Busy. If you open these accounts in modify mode, you can see their group as duties and taxes, tax type as CGST, SGST and so on. If you want to create more accounts, then you can create new accounts by using the account add option. Here first of all we are creating an account for Bharat Electronics, which is our Sundry creditors. We'll specify the type of dealer is registered. Here various options are appearing, you can select them as per your requirement. Address of the party, state, place of supply. Here you will select the state or place of supply for the party. On pressing the Alt-M key here, you can modify the state name and code also. Specify the GSTN number of the company and click Save button to save the master. Next we are creating one more account for the party Arnav Enterprises, which is our Sundry debtors. It is also a registered dealer. Its place of supply is Punjab, that is it is a central party for us as we are doing business from Delhi state. Specify the GSTN number of the party and click Save button to save the master. Till now we have created our party masters. If you want, you can modify your expense accounts like office miscellaneous expense, staff welfare expense accounts, or you can add new expense accounts also. Here we are creating a new expense account for transport services registered, that is we are taking transportation services from a registered dealer. We are specifying its group as expenses indirect, tax category services 5%, ITC eligibility, that is the expenses we will make under this account head, will they be eligible for ITC claim? Next is reverse charge. You can select the required option. For details on reverse charge, you can refer to our video implementing RCM in Busy, which is available on YouTube. Here we are selecting the reverse charge as compulsory registered dealer. Click Save button to save the master. Next is our step 3, managing tax categories, sale type, purchase type and bill sundry masters. Although all the default accounts are created in Busy at the time of company creation, however you can change them as per your requirement, and if there is a need you can create them also. Here first of all we'll discuss the tax category master. We are opening tax category 18%. We are opening tax category GST 18% in modify mode, and you can see its type as goods and tax rate IGST 18%, CGST 9% and SGST 9%. IGST is for central transaction, interstate transaction, that is when you'll use this tax category, then in case of central transaction 18% tax rate will be charged. In case of local transaction 9% CGST and 9% SGST will be charged. Next is change tax rate on the basis of price. Specify Y in this option if you want to specify tax rate as per the item price, that is as per either item net price or MRP. Here we have selected the option as net price and we have specified the filtration criteria as 1000 rupees. Next we'll specify the tax rates to be applied when this criteria will be fulfilled. Here we are defining that if an item price is below rupees 1000, then IGST will be charged at 5% and CGST and SGST will be charged at 2.5% each. Next we will go to sale type master. Here we are adding a new sale type master with the name of LGST 12%. In the taxation type group you can see various options are appearing: taxable voucher wise, item wise, exempt, zero rated, reverse charge. You can select any option as per your requirement. Then you can specify whether this is a single tax rate sale type or multi-tax rate. Single tax rate, that is when this sale type will be used in voucher, only one tax rate will be applied. In case of multi-tax rate, you can specify more than one tax in the voucher. You can specify the region also, that is local or central. If you select the region as central, then there are various options appearing: stock transfer, export, normal, deemed export, SEZ unit. You can select them as per your requirement. Next we are adding purchase type. In the purchase type master you can see there are two more options: composition dealer and unregistered RCM purchase are appearing. For unregistered RCM purchase you can refer to our implementing RCM in Busy video. Next we will open bill sundries in modify mode. On the screen you can see the list of bill sundries, that is CGST, SGST. Various bill sundries are created by default. On opening CGST bill sundry in the modify mode, you can see its bill sundry nature is CGST and it is chargeable on taxable amount. Next we are opening CGST ITC none bill sundry in the modify mode. You can see its configuration also. Our next step 4 will be creating items and tagging GST tax categories with them. By tagging tax category to an item master, you are specifying that when this item will be used in sale purchase transactions, then this particular tax rate will be charged. For example, you have tagged a tax category 18% with an item, then whenever you will sell or purchase this item and you don't charge 18% tax on that item, then Busy will show you an error message. So it's a very good way of avoiding mistakes. So you must specify the tax category with the item. Here we are opening item master in add mode. We are specifying the item name as Glen black tempered glass built-in hob, group as LPG gas burner. We have specified its tax category as GST 18%, that is with this item we need to apply 18% GST. Specify its HSN code, and we can also tag sale purchase account with this item. Next we are creating one more item, Sony Bravia 32-inch LED TV. With this item we are tagging the tax category GST 28%, that is this item will be taxable at 28%. Our next step 5 is entering transaction and applying GST on them. Most important step, basic step. Basically till now we have done with our configuration part and master's creation. Now the important day-to-day task, that is entering transactions. Entering transactions means entering your daily sale, purchase, payment, sale return, vouchers. Here first of all we'll enter a purchase voucher. If you remember, in the VAT GST tab there is an option show caption as supply inward and outward in place of sale purchase. If you have enabled that option, then in place of purchase voucher, here the caption would be appearing as supply inward voucher. Specify details related to the header of purchase voucher. Here we have taken the purchase type as IGST 28%. That is, this is a central purchase in which 28% tax rate will be charged. Select party, specify the ITC eligibility, that is the goods are eligible for ITC or not. Select item, and at the bottom you can see we have applied the bill sundry IGST 28%. That is, tax 28% will be charged in this transaction. Next we are entering one more purchase voucher. Here we have taken the purchase type as LGST 18%. That is, it is a local transaction in which 18% tax rate will be charged. We have selected the item as Glen black tempered glass built-in hob. If you remember, we have tagged tax category GST 18% with this item. In the bill sundry, we will charge two bill sundries. One is CGST at the rate of 9% and another is SGST at the rate of 9%. So, in case of local transaction, you need to apply two bill sundries, CGST and SGST. But in case of central transaction, you need to apply only one bill sundry, that is IGST. At the left hand side of the window, you can view the GST summary also, that is, taxable amount is 93,000 rupees and 8,370 each for CGST and SGST. Next we will enter a sales voucher. Here again, if you have enabled the option of show caption as supply inward outward in place of sale purchase, then the name would be appearing as supply outward voucher. Here we will select the sale type as IGST item wise. This implies that in this transaction there would be multiple tax rate. That is, we will specify the item tax rate with each item separately. That is, in this bill, suppose we are taking two items, then each of the item will be taxable at separate tax rate. If you open this sale type in modify mode, you can see the option selected as taxable item wise. Next we will select the party. On selecting the party, a billing shipping details window will appear. This window will appear if you have enabled the option of enable billing shipping details window in the vouchers configuration. In the window, the first option is GST report basis. That is, in the invoicing, in the reports, what would be the basis of printing the reports? That is, the details are to be picked from party masters or as per billing shipping details. In case of party master, whatever details you have entered with this party in the account master, those details will be picked, like address, GSTIN number. But if in case you have select the billing shipping details option, then the details you enter in the billing shipping details box in this window will appear in the reports and bill. On clicking the OK button, a warning message appeared that you are entering a central transaction for a party belonging to local state. That is, you are entering a central transaction for a party which is of the same state. This message appeared because Busy has picked this information from party master. In the party master, we have specified the state as Delhi with the electronic paradise party. Now, if we select billing shipping details option, that is, the details are to be picked from the box specified below. In this box, we have specified the state as Punjab. Now no message box is appearing, as although this will be the case of central transaction also, but Busy has picked the details from billing shipping details window. Now if we change the party, here we have changed the party to Arnav Enterprises, which is our central party, and we have specified that pick the details from party master. Now no message box is appearing. Next we will select the item. We are selling two pieces of Sony Bravia LED TV. On pressing the enter key on amount field, an item-wise GST window will appear, which is showing the IGST rate as 28%. As tax category, GST 28% is tagged with this item. Next, we will select the item as Glen black tempered glass built-in hob. On pressing enter key on the amount field, again item-wise GST window will appear, and the window will show the tax rate as 18%. Because with this item we have tagged the GST tax category as GST 18%. At the bottom of the window you can see also that on first item 28% tax has been charged, and on second item 18% tax has been charged. Click save button to save the voucher. Now Busy has asked you if you want to print this invoice. Yes. If we view this invoice in standard format, then Busy has shown a message that standard format is still not configured. Do you want to configure it? Yes, we want to configure it. In the window, standard configuration window, you can see various options are appearing. You can enable, disable them as per your requirement. On clicking the self-configured option, various options again are appearing. At the bottom of the window, you can see an option remove unnecessary GST columns. On enabling this option, the column for either IGST or CGST, SGST will appear in the report. And if you disable this option, then 3 columns for IGST, CGST and SGST each will appear in the report. You can have a look at the preview of the bill. It is clearly showing the IGST rate, amount, all the taxable details. Next we will enter one more sale voucher. This sale voucher we are entering for LGST item wise, that is, it is a local transaction wherein we'll specify the tax rate item wise. On pressing the enter key on amount field, an item wise GST window appeared. In the window you can see CGST at the rate of 14% and SGST at the rate of 14% is charged. Because it is a local transaction, so tax will be divided equally among the central government and the state government. Next we have selected the item as Glen Hob. On pressing enter key on the amount field, here it is showing that CGST at the rate of 9% and SGST at the rate of 9% is charged, as this item belongs to GST 18% tax category. At the left hand side bottom of the window you can clearly see that 14% plus 14% is charged on first item and 9% plus 9% is charged on second item. You can have a look at the print preview of the bill. It is also clearly showing the CGST and SGST rates. Next we will enter one more sale voucher for the sale type LGST 18%. That is, it is a local transaction in which 18% tax will be charged. Party we have taken as cash, that it is our cash bill. Now in the billing shipping details window, we'll specify the GST report basis as billing shipping details and will specify the shipping details like party name, address, where the goods will be delivered. So as we have selected the billing shipping details option, so these details which we have specified in the window will be printed in the voucher. Select the item, apply the CGST and SGST bill sundry. Now after saving the voucher, if we have a look at the preview of the bill, you can see in the bill that in the party details, the details which you have entered in the billing shipping details window are appearing. That is, it has picked the party details from the billing shipping details window. Next we are entering one more sale voucher in which we have selected the sale type as IGST multi-rate. IGST multi-rate implies that in this bill also there will be items which are taxable at multiple rates. Now you will be wondering what is the difference between the item wise option and multi-rate option. Let me clear, in the item wise option you need to specify tax percentage with each item, but in multi-rate you need to specify only the bill sundries for different rate. Busy will automatically pick that on which item which tax rate is to be charged. Here we have taken two items, Glen Hob and Sony Bravia, and have applied IGST 18% and 28%. Now Busy will automatically charge 18% tax rate on Glen built-in Hob and 28% tax on Sony Bravia item, because in the item master we have specified the tax category 18% with Glen Hob and 28% with Sony Bravia item. So this is a very simple way. In case you have many items, becomes quite cumbersome sometimes to specify tax rate with each item. In that case you can select the multi-rate option. You can have a look at the preview of the bill also. Next we are entering one more sales voucher for LGST tax inclusive. Tax inclusive means that the item amount you have entered is inclusive of the tax amount. So Busy will do a reverse calculation and segregate the taxable amount and the tax amount from that amount. Select this party. We have selected the item as Glen Black Tempered Glass. On pressing the enter key on amount field, an item wise tax information window appears which is showing CGST 9% and SGST 9%. At the bottom you can see that out of 36,000 rupees, 30,508 is your taxable amount and 2,745 rupees is your tax amount. Similarly, we have selected the item Sony Bravia LED TV. Here CGST and SGST at 14% have been charged, and you can see out of 76,000, 69,000 something is your taxable amount and 8,312 something is your tax amount. So Busy will do a reverse calculation and separate the tax and taxable amount, and the total of tax and taxable amount is equivalent to the item amount you have entered. In the print preview you can also view the taxable amount, tax amount and the total item amount. Next we will enter a payment voucher. In the payment voucher you can see the GST nature is showing various options. First is not applicable if no GST is applicable in the voucher. Next is unregistered RCM purchase for RCM purchases, registered purchase expense, refund against advance receipt if you have refunded any advance amount, and GST payment to government, that is you have made any payment to the government. For all these you can refer to our separate videos uploaded on YouTube. Next is step 6, viewing GST reports and entering cross-adjustment and GST payment voucher. Now we'll go to display GST reports, GST summaries, GST summary option. We are viewing the GST summary on 31st of July. Here you can see input GST, output GST, tax calculation details. Here it is showing GST payable minus 1480 for IGST. This shows that this amount can be adjustable in CGST and HGST amount. Here busy is showing on screen that IGST is being adjusted in CGST. But let me remind you that this is for reference purpose only. No cross adjustment has been posted by busy automatically. For this you need to enter a journal voucher in which you will enter a cross adjustment entry. Next we will enter a journal voucher. Since we have created separate accounts for IGST, SGST, CGST input and output, so we need to debit and credit these accounts with the minimum amount. Like if debit amount is less, then we'll that amount. If credit amount is less, then we'll take that amounts. Next we are entering one more journal voucher. Here we are taking the GST nature as GST cross adjustment. As we have seen in the GST summary, we can adjust 1480 rupees of IGST with CGST. So here we will debit the CGST input account with 1480 and credit the IGST input account with 1480. On saving the voucher, a GST cross adjustment details window will appear in which we will specify the period ending, that is for which period we are entering this cross adjustment. Now we will enter a payment voucher for the GST deposited to the government. Here we are taking the GST nature as GST payment to government. We are debiting CGST output account, we are debiting the SGST output account and crediting the State Bank of India account. On saving the voucher, a GST payment details window will appear in which we will specify the payment related details like bank name, code, period ending, that is the period for which we are depositing the tax, and all such details. Now again we'll go to display GST reports and GST summary. Now when we'll view the GST summary for 31st of July, then first of all it is showing all the payment details, the details you have entered in the payment voucher like check number and date, and in the final tax calculation it is showing that cross adjustment entry also. You can also view from GSTR 3B, GSTR 1, GSTR 2, whatever you require. Next we'll go to transactions, GST miscellaneous utilities menu. Using this menu you can check and post consolidated RCM payable, check and post tax on advance receipt, and check and post tax adjustable against advance amounts. For details on these options you can refer to our implementing RCM in busy and GST on advance receipt in busy videos available on YouTube. You can also view following videos related to GST for in-depth knowledge of GST, steps for migration to GST, implementing RCM in busy, GST on advance receipt, GST on freight, generating service invoice, and managing expense in busy. Hope after watching this presentation you would be able to easily enter GST related transaction and carry on with your work. Thanks for watching. For more videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel.